Hi everybody, this is Maz Sherma. I'm from Global Transformatrix and Institute of Women International. And what we're doing here is we train coaches and therapists and practitioners and psychologists and counsellors and all sorts of women that help other women through their emotional and mental blockages. Also some women here in the personal development industry and some women who just have a really big vision of influencing a lot of women and setting them emotionally and mentally free. So we just train them in something I created called Creatrix, which is the world's first ever female formulated breakthrough methodology designed by a woman based on the science of epigenetics and also the female factor difference and what I've discovered that really nobody's even realised. So we're just here today, and here I am with all the students. You can see everybody here. Wave, everybody. These are the coaches and therapists and, you know, women with big visions that want to help empower women. So we're just doing an exercise, and I wanted to share it. It's a bit risky going public live like this, but, you know, not really. I think it's time that we brought this out into the world. And I hypothesise that deep below most of our women's issues, when women present themselves, they always have one thing on their list that's just universal. All women have it and they don't know. They all think they're the only one, and that is not good enough. And I hypothesised that deep suppression, so I studied history and the origins of science and psychology and where everything basically, our belief systems are about mental health and solutions and how our brain works. And I uncovered that everything stemmed from men's perception. And why is the crises why are there more female presenting themselves at a doctor's or a therapist? For example, 3 times more likely to have depression or anxiety if you're a woman, 8 times more likely to develop a PTSD as well, and that's not even common knowledge, but it's a fact. And when you understand history and where women have come from and the patriarchal times we've come from, it's just, and you understand epigenetics, that we don't just inherit knobby knees and our crooked nose. And think about it, where does your family nose stem from? How far back? And they've just realised now they've got evidence that 14 generations of trauma triggers are playing out as symptoms in generations 14 generations deep. So if they know that so far in science, why wouldn't it go much further back? So studying history and our gender and what we've been through and why would women have issues more than men, I hypothesised something, and we've been testing it at these courses to see what women's issues we can take away by using the amazing process Creatrix to tackle that. So here we are. Ladies, have I warned you how to answer any of the questions I'm about to ask? No. No? You sure now? Yes. Yeah, because I'm going to ask you a few questions. All right, don't worry. Now, I think Linda hasn't done hers yet, but everyone else here has actually done it. So we're going to ask them just quickly who's in the room. So who already runs the practice? If you can just say what maybe methods you use and just, you know, what profession you're in. So I know that a few of you here do run successful businesses already. Yes?
I'm a marriage and family therapist in private practice, and I've done cognitive behavioral therapy for many years and used all the theories of every theory throughout history.
So, Orleen, where have you come from? Where did you come from to attend this course today?
I'm from St. George, Utah.
Utah in America. Right, so you're also a psychologist, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, and you do CBT and EMDR and things like that. Now, what we've just done is look at what's on the list, what on the list could stem from suppression and victim, feeling like a victim, because we really have been a victim throughout history, and really tackling that as an intergenerational issue. How have you found what just happened? Like, you've just looked at your own personal list. So we've worked on you personally. What did you discover through that exercise before?
Well, I feel like everything everything has decreased immensely. I kind of want to put 0, but I don't think that's fair, so I want to give it time.
So your head's butting in and you're doing a head thing. But that's okay. How many things on your list?
So far. Altogether? I don't know.
How many things are on your list reduced, though, by just having creatrix done on issues that are on suppression and victim? What? How many issues?
At least 20.
So 20 issues.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, that's just partway through, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So things like what? Does anyone want to share some of the things that you had? Who's willing to own some just typical female issues that women think that they're the only one on the planet that has, but that might be on some of your lists that actually just totally disappeared with creatrix? Just because we did suppression and victim?
I'm not enough.
You're not enough as a person?
Yep.
Yeah, that's very, very common. We find that, not good enough or not smart enough or not pretty enough and all of these sorts of things, not enough. So is that what you meant?
Yep.
Yeah? So how many issues on your list did we just take in one fell swoop just by addressing suppression and victim? How many things reduced? 21. How many things are on your list overall as issues that we could recognise through the creatrix screening process, that where we identify blocks that people don't always know they had? So how many issues on your list in total?
I have about 30 on there.
About 30. How many did we reduce?
21.
21 out of 30. Just like that. I mean, that would take a lifetime of therapy usually, and even then we might get rid of 1 or 2. So good. Okay, anyone else willing to admit that, just share that you are a professional in the industry? Yeah? I'm going to come around. Oops, here we are. Could you just,
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm Karen. I'm a kinesiologist. I use kinesiology and EFT. That's before I've learnt creatrix, and I've been blown away.
It's only day 3 of 6 as well, isn't it? So you're only just really discovering what this is, aren't you?
Yes, I am. So I've got quite a few on my list, and I would say majority of them have been definitely reduced. So valuing myself was one that's completely been eradicated from releasing suppression, and it feels good.
So how does it compare? Because there's a lot of good tools out there, but how does creatrix compare to kinesiology, EFT in outcome? Because that's really we're just trying to focus on outcome, because we offer a money back guarantee. We want to know, how does it kind of compare in getting outcomes like you've seen us do here?
There's no comparison. I've loved kinesiology, but people come to me for their physical issues, but their physical issues always relates to a belief or mindset, and that was my hardest thing, is to get them to understand that shift needed to happen. Creatrix does it like that, so for me it's just mind-blowing that we can do that and get those shifts in people. So I'm super excited to be able to bring this back into practice, and try and educate my clients that they don't always have to get stuck in that mindset. They can actually do something about it.
How fast was it? How fast did you get rid of suppression and that victim from basically your DNA memory? But that's a bit hard to explain on a video. But, to feel that it's affected you so dramatically and changed you. How do you feel different?
I think it was 45 minutes.
So how different do you feel? What's the feeling like to not have suppression and victim in your body anymore? What's it feel like?
It just feels light and empowered, feeling like there's passion back, feeling like you just want to get up and go, and it's just an amazing feeling. I'm not quite sure how to explain.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, isn't it? Especially because, there's nothing like this out there for women. So who else was... Yes. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Katherine Riddle and I'm from Perth. We own a allied health therapy clinic and I manage the clinic. So over the last 10 years, I have managed dozens of different practitioners and modalities, including chiropractic, physio, osteo, Bowen therapy, naturopathy, psychology, clinical Pilates, and the list goes on. Over the years, I've been able to have the pleasure of being treated by many of those therapies, including my very skilled husband, who is a chiro, also trained in NLP, NOT, NIS, NOT.
Everything with a T in it by the sounds. There's a T in a lot of these things, isn't there, actually? The therapy word at the end, yep.
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate that I've been a client of various therapies and benefited from them, but I've had what doctors would call an autoimmune issue for the last 10 years, and part of that issue, they would perhaps call it rheumatoid arthritis. I've managed that with naturopathy and chiro and NIS, but I've had locked elbows now pretty much for 10 years. Today I did Creatrix with one of the lovely ladies at the course, and for the first time in 10 years my elbows have completely unlocked.
I didn't even know that. I did not know that. I did not know that yet. I did not know that. That effing excites me. Woo!
Well, I can tell
Let's
you
release suppression from women, and this is what we're going to get. And especially that victim, we don't realise how our emotional and mental issues affect our body, do we? You know? Well, the world is starting to realise, but...
Yeah, it's been amazing. What I love about Creatrix so far is it's just so incredibly gentle. And yes, it's getting to the root, the cause of the matter, because I'm well aware that my health issues are emotional, perhaps belief systems. But what blew me away was I would never in a million years, as somebody who is a leader, as a manager, someone who's a high school teacher and taught students in management positions for over 25 years, could find something in myself, as I hesitate to say simple as suppression, being at the root, maybe the cause even of...
It's one of the biggest secrets we're releasing to the world, isn't it? That this is the problem. This is why, you know, most people attending personal development courses are actually women. And, you know, there's not programs out there that even recognise this as an issue, let alone have a solution for it. So.
Yeah. So I would never in a million years have said that I was suppressed. I have amazing leadership background and I consider myself very confident. But, yeah, to just be treated today for suppression and to have elbows that are now unlocked for the first time in 10 years.
It's so exciting. Oh, my God. And I went live. I'm so glad I went live because you wouldn't have bloody believed me, would you? I would have tried to tell you and you'd be like, oh, yeah, she's just making another wild claim. I'm so glad. Thanks for sharing that. Who else was there that's running some sort of a, you know, like someone that could say, look, I do this and I know that this is good, but Allison, are you willing? Sure. Don't you love it when someone puts a camera in your face?
If I can talk as well as these people.
No, just talk from the heart. That's all people want to know. It's like, can I ask you, so suppression and victim, like most people don't know that is a part of what they've got as women. And we did the education first to have everyone understand what suppression is and some of the things that come under that banner. Does anyone want to say what some of those things are, just so that we give this interview some basis? What were some of the things on lists? Like, the camera's not going to be on you, but if you want to just... Guilt, control, frightened about being all of yourself. Intuition.
Helplessness.
Fear, helplessness. Speaking up, having a voice, not good enough, not deserving, not worthy, being invisible, powerless, bullied, unrecognised. Girls, if any of you watching this have that, you're suppressed. And you just don't know it. Because it's a word that no one talks about and it's suppressed by yourself as well, but it's also conditioned into us, you know. Don't blame yourself, it's just that it is something that we've inherited. And science actually says it's still with you if it's existed in your ancestral line. So anyway... Allison, now, how many things reduced on your list because we did them?
I've got well over 40.
Wow.
And I would have to say absolute majority have been reduced down to 0 or very low numbers.
Oh my God, that's big. This is even big for me. And I created the process. Like to actually come in with a new hypothesis and go, you know what if everything is from this suppression and victim, from how we've been treated throughout history. And I mean, look, I'll also share on here some history lessons about women and what your great-great-great-great-grandmother, 432 generations and 28 went through. I will share more of that on here so you can start to get educated on what is suppression, just so you know. But Allison, where do you come from? Like, what's your story?
So I have a counselling background.
Yeah.
So I've done a degree in counselling, and I have studied NLP. I've done masters in NLP, and nothing compares to this technique and what we do here. It's just been mind-blowing to think that something so simple can be so effective.
It is simple, isn't it? It's designed to be simple for the end user. Yeah. What have you discovered I think we haven't shared fully the intricacies of the design, but we did share a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah.
What do you think of what it is?
It's just, anyone can do it. It's just easy. It's not complicated. You don't need a degree. You don't need to spend thousands on what we spend normally when we do go and get a formal education and formal sort of degree. There's a lot more time spent in dealing with those therapies that really don't even touch the surface compared to what this does.
Thank you for sharing that. Because I can say it, but who am I? So just, so in summary, how did we go with suppression? How many people in the room discovered through the educational process that you actually had suppression? Yeah. So do you realise this is 100%? And that's basically what I'm, the message to bring to the world. So thank you for watching. And so there it is, coming to you live from Creatrix Transformologist course in Australia. We run out of Sunshine Coast. We also have this course being taught in Dutch over in the Netherlands as well. And exciting times. They're only day 3. They've only had a few sessions. We're going to create just hell out of them for a few more days, and they're going to get so good at this. This is hands-on from day 2 of the 6 days. It's hands-on work. So it's really exciting. I think in psychology it's like the end of third year before you're doing hands-on client work. We just do it. We just jump right in the deep end. So thank you again. One more question I'm going to ask them, because I've had to deal with this on Facebook, a few people carrying on about the money I charge for the course. Tell me, is it worth the money you paid?
Yes.
Are you sure? Don't bullshit.
Yes. I'll give you some more.
What's it worth? What do you think this course is worth?
Priceless. Freedom.
You can't put a price on freedom. That's exactly right. And if you're serious about getting out there and changing lives, this is an investment. It's not an expense. You make money from doing this, even just removing your suppression and your money blocks about being deserving enough to even charge money. You can have a thriving business doing what you love most, which is helping other women. And there's nothing wrong with that. If anyone tries to guilt trip you that there's something wrong with that, how come we can have a business that sells shoes and we're allowed to get filthy rich from that? But there's something wrong with making money, because we help people very deeply, emotionally and mentally. So, there you go. It's worth it, isn't it, girls? Yes, exactly.